So last week I was looking at this. What was it? Something like that. And naturally, the price has kind of just been going sideways. And I wanted to know if we were going to break this kind of steeper trend line. That was really important. And one thing to note about these trend lines is that if we're in a crazy bear market right now, usually what happens is the price rejects off these steeper ones and the price crashes again. And so we haven't had that. We had it once, bounce, and then really you want this to kind of fall. And that's kind of where I was thinking we're going to have a crazy bear market. And yet, even though things could look really bearish, and they are looking quite bearish, the reality is that we're back above 91k. And we've broken that line. You can see we've broken that line. And so while I'm still thinking this would have been a great long if we would have kind of pushed down to sweep those lows, now I'm kind of thinking to myself, something else is going on. That's what I'm going to have to investigate. What's going on with Bitcoin? And so let me do what I usually do, which is kind of map out the volume. Now this volume profile I have is from the pivot low put in November 22. So this is kind of, dare I say it, the bull market volume. And what you can see is that we've kind of trying to lose the value area. Now we're trying to get back above the value area. So the price is playing around this value area high. Yes, I'm well. Hi, Defage. Nice to have you. Well, very well, thank you. Hope you stay for the rest of the stream, or if not, catch up with the cuts later. But we're not really getting crazy buying at the moment. I think the market's really nervous. It's really nervous because even though locally the structure is bullish, like we're putting in higher highs and higher lows on the daily market structure here, it's very clear that on the weekly structure we've put in a lower low. It's very clear to see. Put in a lower low, lower high, lower low. So on the weekly time frame, we're probably looking at some kind of lower high, even though on the daily time frame it looks kind of like somewhat structurally there is bullish structure here. The fact that the price is coming into the value area, trying to get in, can't get in, it's coming back outside. Now it's trying to find support off the value area high of this bull market volume. That's kind of what you want to see if the price wants to go up. You want to see the price reject from the value area. The whole value area becomes support in effect. And sometimes we see this where the price kind of comes in and then comes up, finds support, and then continues. Sometimes we see that. And that kind of in the past, as you can see here, it acted as quite an important SR flip. And so we're kind of above it right now. So we're at a really important place. The other thing that I like is that I like that we've broken this steeper trend line, this one. I like that. That gives me confidence that we're maybe not going down just yet. That being said, if tomorrow we get like a crazy drop like that and we're back in, and then that trend line comes back into play. Yeah, so if tomorrow, like let's say tomorrow, the weekend, whatever, you get a drop or next week and we're like down here again, then that trend line will offer resistance and then we're probably going down. So we're at a very critical point in Bitcoin. But at the moment, the structure and market structure on the daily time frame is bullish. We're putting in higher highs, higher lows on the daily time frame, and we're putting in higher lows. So it's really important to see that. What else is there to see? Let me just hide that trend line now. I'm gonna kind of have a look at the volume. Where is the volume? This is a higher range, it's overall range. See that value area is down a little bit. So value area is shifted slightly. And actually what you can see is that the value area of this range is offering support there. See that? So we are back into the value area of this higher range. So I would argue that that's actually quite a bullish development, in that we're outside or above the value area high of the bull market volume. We're back into the value area of this range. We've lost it a couple of times, but we're actually back in, and the price is finding support. You can see the price is finding support off the value area low now. So I would say that that's actually quite a bullish development. We broke that in a trend line. So things are changing, and that's the thing about the markets. That's the thing about Bitcoin and crypto. Even though you have an idea of something much lower, it doesn't always happen. And if it doesn't happen, so what? It's not a big deal. You're prepared for an SFP off that pivot, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. You have to reanalyze, look at the charts, and see what's happening now. Yeah, and kind of keep it in the back of your mind, but not be too bothered about it just yet, because the reality is there's no way we're going to get down to 74k as long as we haven't lost 91k, as long as we haven't lost these pivot lows, as long as we haven't lost this high volume node. So we have levels to contend with before we get down there. And so you just want to see how the price reacts from level to level to make a determined decision about what could happen next. You see that daily level that played a role, that offered the resistance. It was sold into, and then obviously the shorts took profit, and look, the price is right back. And so it just suggests that there's not enough selling volume or selling liquidity at these levels to keep the price down. That's what I'm seeing in the candles right now, because you're getting traders sell. There was an easy sell there. There was an easy short there of the swing failure. Price dropped 4%. Shorts took their profit, and the price came right back up. And if there was a more sell volume, more shorting going on, then the price wouldn't come back up so much. And so actually it's just kind of looking a little bit more, much more bullish than before, than last week. And so we're kind of still in the same place, but things have changed because it's now looking more bullish. And so the lesson really for everyone is be patient. When you don't know, just be patient. Just wait for more information, wait to see what happens, wait for more data. And so that level is now washed. Kind of ignore it a little bit. We had another daily level from those two candles. We're kind of still in it, so it's still a level to flip on a lower time frame. And there was this daily level here that was tapped. You see that? So we're kind of in between those two daily levels now. Let's have a look at the weeklies. No, nothing new in the weeklies. And the monthly is still going on. All right, so it's starting to look a little bit more bullish, and we have this kind of this daily level there. I don't really like these daily levels. I like the ones where the price completely turns. This is almost like a continuation, that daily level, but on a lower time frame, it's still relevant, isn't it? That's where the price is. The price is kind of stuck between two daily levels. Generally speaking, what you're looking for is a reclaim. That's your trigger in a situation like this. In a situation like this, you're not longing into resistance. You're not shorting into support. You're looking for a sign of weakness or a sign of strength. In this context, a sign of strength would be a reclaim, and a sign of weakness would be a loss. And that's basically it. That's how we're kind of stuck at the moment. The price is going sideways. Let's have a look at XO charts, the order flow, to see if that offers us any indication of what's going on. So we're getting some bearish order flow here, but the price is above the VWAP, the anchored VWAP, not the anchored VWAP, the daily VWAP. It's underneath the daily open, so we're kind of stuck again. Here you see we're stuck. We're stuck between the VWAP and the daily open. That's why the price isn't going nowhere. We're getting bearish CVD. How do I know it's bearish? It's simple. You see the CVD's going up and the price is putting in lower highs. So you're putting in higher highs on the CVD and you're putting in lower highs. What does that mean? That means the price is being absorbed by sellers, by limit sales, by large limit sales absorbing the price. And for the price to move, you need market movement. You need market buying or market selling. That's how the price moves, with market orders. And when you get the CVD move and the price doesn't move, that means large limit orders are absorbing the market buys or sells. That's effectively what's happening. You see here, just 10 minutes ago, we had the OI drop by 7.7 million and dollars, and the CVD went up. So that was basically a short closing, a short closed effectively. Not all of that was shorts, but most of it closed. So when a short closes, it's a long, isn't it? And that's why here you can see the T size, dominant size is 4 million longs. And so the CVD goes up, but the price actually puts in a lower high. And so that means it was absorbed by a large short limit order. So there are some shorts positioning in here. And we don't know where their stop loss is. It might be above the daily open. It might be a short stop loss, a small stop loss. And they're just basically betting that the price is going down. That's what they're doing. Now, that can change very rapidly. Even though the order flow is bearish, it's clearly bearish because of the CVD. You wouldn't necessarily long because you're seeing bearish CVD. But you wouldn't necessarily short either because we're above the VWAP. We're above the VWAP, we're above that daily level. So you're kind of shorting into resistant support, and you wouldn't long because you're getting bearish CVD. You want that to change. What you want to see is at the very least the CVD to change and go neutral. And in this context, you want the price to put in a higher high here locally, so it invalidates the bearish CVD. Once you get an invalidation of bearish CVD and a back test of some support level like the daily open, then you have a setup to long on continuation. You might argue, well, why would I long higher? Well, because that's when shorts will be closing, and it'll be nice to long when shorts start to get squeezed or start to get close or start to close, because then the price moves quite rapidly. And so going back to this, it kind of brings us back to where we are now. We're kind of stuck. We're kind of stuck. It's Friday. We're going into the weekend. The price is kind of going sideways, just consolidating. Have a look at my indicators. Yeah. Getting a little bit of bullish absorption on the indicators locally. And it's kind of like a coin flip, really. And so we just have to wait and see what happens. It can go either way, effectively. Now, the good thing is that we are above that trend line. And sometimes in these situations, what you do get is a fake out before you get a pump, either to the upside to down or to the downside to up. And so it's easy to draw squiggly lines and say, this is what I want. But the price never does what you want. Sometimes what it does is it goes down, stops everyone out, and it goes up, doesn't it? And sometimes it does the reverse. It goes out, stops everyone out, and then collapses. And so that's kind of the liquidity market makers playing their game. And so it's not an easy one to play unless you have a slightly wider stop, and you risk less in that situation. That's kind of where we're at when it comes to where Bitcoin is. Now, if I kind of hide those brushstrokes for a second, you see that that 12-hour candle is a bullish engulfing candle. It's a pretty bullish candle. It's got quite nice volume on that candle. We're putting some bullish engulfing candles here on on these green candles, which I like. I like to see bullish engulfing with nice volume. Yeah. So there is some buying going on here. There is some buying, some accumulation, so to speak. And I was watching a video. I didn't actually watch all of it, or even most. I didn't watch any of it really. I saw the title. Someone suggested that we're in an accumulation schematic. And if anyone is suggesting that we're in accumulation schematic, then it's usually Wyckoff, isn't it? So I'm just going to have a look at the Wyckoff accumulation and see if there's a lineup. I didn't watch the video, so I haven't got a clue. Go to a slightly lower time frame. That's the Wyckoff accumulation. It's a schematic one. There's two schematics. One is with a spring, one is without a spring. I mean, I'm not an expert on Wyckoff, to be honest with you. Maybe I should have watched the video. Let's go to a lower time frame. Let me have a look at the second schematic as well. Schematic 2. So schematic 2 doesn't have a spring. Where are you, schematic 2? Just searching my second screen here. Schematic 1, schematic 2. In both situations, ST and phase P does put in a lower low. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I see a possibility of a schematic 2 here without a spring. It's a lower time frame schematic, huh? So let's just say that pivot is an ST in phase B. And again, this is not financial, it's all speculative fun, really. Then you've got to kind of got, I don't really know. I'm not really good at this, to be honest with you. Let's just say that was your PS. Oh my God. And it goes the other way here. This goes down, down, whereas that one goes up, up. But let's just, for argument's sake, that that was an SC. Oop. That was your ST. ST in phase B. 1, 2. And if you're looking at the 2, yeah, if you're looking at the 2, I don't know. I can't really tell. Because here you see it's putting in lower highs, and here you're putting in higher highs. I really don't know. I should have watched the video, huh? And if you zoom out, is there one on a higher time frame? If it is, it's only just begun, and then this is a really higher time frame, and it's kind of hard to know. If it is on a higher time frame, then we've only just begun, and we're just putting in the first SC, AR, ST, and we're looking for an ST in phase B. And then this is going to be drawn out. This accumulation schematic is going to be drawn out for most of next year, if that's the case. Because then on a high, so it's hard to know, but then that would have been your PS. And as it draws out, it becomes a lot easier to see. But this would be on a kind of a higher time frame. And we just don't know. We just don't know until the price starts to give us more information and data. And then we're kind of at this top point here above they are, and then we're actually going down to take these lows. That would be your ST and phase B for a pivot low. If that's the case, then you're actually looking for a long here. And then if you get the ST and phase B, you're looking for 5 waves, 5 impulsive, nice impulsive waves to put in a lower high. It's not going to be that impulsive. Just to kind of go down, 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 down for whatever. Who knows? Yeah, but if it is, it's either just beginning or it's on a much lower time frame, and somehow this is some kind of accumulation. I'm not convinced, and so at the moment I think it's probably the best strategy for people to contemplate is what I said, is just focus on these daily levels. I see the price is stuck there. Let's kind of chuck in the fibs as well. I've probably got them here. Yeah, we're kind of back above the golden pocket, so we're showing some strength here. And time frame volume, where are you? There, kind of showing a bit of strength here. And all you want to see now is the next move. And the thing is that everyone is feeling bearish, and so when people feel bearish, you kind of should get bullish. Huh? You should be bullish. When people are bearish, you should be bullish. When people start getting bullish, that's when you start getting bearish. And so if you're feeling bearish, then you have to look at the technicals and go, wait a minute, I'm feeling bearish, the market's feeling bearish, people are shorting, but wait a minute, the price is holding support, the price is breaking trend lines to the upside, and the price is reclaiming value area lows, and it's getting back above the value area high, and the price is reclaiming that golden pocket. So these are signs, these are technical signs which actually indicate that the price is actually trying to go up. And when the market feels bullish, bearish, then people sell and they short, and actually what they end up doing is adding fuel to the potential fire of going up when shorts get squeezed. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm not really kind of looking at any trades until I see one of these levels reclaimed or lost. It's kind of where we are. We're kind of stuck. And that, I think possibly what will happen is the price will move quite fast. And so, because you can see the price is coiling up, you can see that, can't you? The price is nicely coiling up, coiling, coiling, coiling. Next move, loss, reclaim, and probably pump, or vice versa. Reclaim, loss, and then probably dump. That's usually how the price moves. You probably get this kind of, oh my god, it's going down, sell, and then ping to the upside. And so that's why it's important to pay attention on these levels, because these are your reference points at the moment of what's going to happen. And you don't necessarily jump into the first move. You wait for a back test so you have a clean invalidation. Yeah, invalidations are important, and you'll often get a fake out if that happens one way or the other. Often you'll get a fake out. In this context, you could easily go and put in a higher low here, fake out that low, reclaim, and then the price pings up quite easily. And vice versa, you could quite easily go up, put in a lower high, lose it. As soon as you lose it, shorts will re-enter, and bam, it will crash. So you get shorts get stopped out, but then bigger shorts enter, and those ones that are limit selling, they probably have much wider stops, or they have a higher appetite for risk. Okay, so I would say that on the short term, for me, it's looking bullish. So I'd be thinking maybe long. But remember, there's a massive point of control in the way, 96k, which lines up with this 50 fib. That will be resistance, especially if you hit that resistance on Sunday, Sunday the 14th of December. Imagine if the price does kind of go a bit mental and go up, and then bam, and then that's a really good place to sell. And so you get longs, they'll take profit. And people who were thinking about selling will sell at higher prices. And then that's when you can get the price drop. That's when you get a lot of volatility. Okay, and volatility is generally speaking not good for altcoins. But if Bitcoin starts to show some real strength, then you're going to get the altcoins pump as well. All right. So I would say bullish at the moment. Unless, of course, like I said, we are in a much higher time frame Wyckoff, and if we are, then actually this really, all it really wants to do is go down and then go up, down to take out that low for a phase B Wyckoff pivot point. An ST in phase B Wyckoff pivot point. And I think that's probably, whereas before I was thinking much lower, now I'm just thinking back at the pivot low. If we do go down, that's kind of your target. I wouldn't really necessarily think much lower than that. I would think, whereas before I was thinking lower because you're looking for continuation. If you don't get the continuation, doesn't come, then you don't necessarily think lower so quickly anymore. Yeah. And in a bear market, I think we should have had quick continuation to push the price lower because the whole market is selling. I can see it's obvious that the whole market isn't selling. It's obvious that the market is also buying. Yeah. And so that's holding the price higher than a bear market would want or require. And then when you kind of zoom out, it's important to zoom out. When you zoom out, all that's really happening is we had a really nice clean back test there. The price is retraced, and from that pivot point to the all-time high, we're just back above the golden pocket, which is actually quite bullish. Huh? If we can reclaim that golden pocket after coming all the way down to the 786, not losing the 786, reclaiming the golden pocket, that's actually that's kind of nice, isn't it? That's nice. That's kind of what you hope for longing. You want to see strength. You don't want to see the price collapse, which we haven't seen, below the 786 there. And we see the golden pocket lost it. Now we're just trying to reclaim it. It looks like a reclaim of the golden pocket, doesn't it? Reclaim that golden pocket, then we're going up. And it's not going to go up in a straight line. It never does, but you never know. With Bitcoin, can do crazy things. And if it does decide to go up in straight lines, then your first kind of real target, 100k, it'll probably go up to 100k quite fast. And then we have to see what strength carries the market. And it's all about the market. The market decides. The market will decide what happens next. And so there's some kind of targets for some longs. Some people are in longs and they long the fear and they're in quite healthy profit because they're in spot longs. But when it comes to leverage, you know, these are the places where you can make some nice leverage trades with short stops and have good ROI. If we do, like if, for example, I'll give you an example now. Let's just say hypothetically you long and you have a relatively wide stop and you have a target of 100k. Then you're doing like a 1 to 2.5 trades. All right, 1 to 2, 1 to 3. 1 to 3 is be better. 1 to 3 would be good, all the way up to the 50 fib. 1 to 3. That's perfectly acceptable in trading. 1 to 3. But if you get a better entry because you have a reclaim, bring back the reclaim lines. and you'd have to zoom in for that. You get a nice reclaim, and you have a much tighter stop because it would just be the local structure, same target, maybe slightly lower. Then you're looking at a much better trade, 1 to 4. And if you do get a nice, let's say you get a drop and then a reclaim like that, bam, then actually you can get a really nice trade. You can risk your trade position and you can get like a 1 to 8 or 1 to 9 just on a reclaim, a fake out, and then a reclaim would give you a really nice trade and a good risk to reward. Does that make sense? That's why it's good to have a really tight invalidation there. So I'm not predicting the future. I don't know. For me, it looks bullish. I don't know if there's a higher time frame Wyckoff schematic in play, accumulation schematic, which suggests that it should kind of go down to put an ST in phase B, right down an 80k, but not necessarily tomorrow, maybe January. That's how this can play out. But we'd see what happens next, because if the price kind of just continues to struggle and struggle, maybe it does that, and then it could then do that in January, couldn't it? And you have to see what happens in the next few weeks, how the price behaves. All right, so I would say if we are forming a higher time frame accumulation schematic, that's really bullish. On a higher time frame, really bullish. But if this is just kind of, we're trying to form a bottom here just to go and put in a lower high on a higher time frame, then you have to be aware of that. You have to be really aware of that. Let's just say that was the pivot low. Price went up to 106k, golden pocket, daily level. However we got there, took at that high, rejected, and that's a lower high. Structurally, that's bearish on a higher time frame, and then you're just probably next year you're probably going down again all the way, and then you will have a much lower target, probably around 74k. So there's a lot of things that could happen, and so if you're trading, you just have to keep an eye on it. All right, so that's kind of Bitcoin. Let me have a look. So I saw an altcoin post. And let me just find it. The altcoin market capitalization. This is the post. I don't know. Who knows? You know, people make up all kinds of stuff. Oh, it won't let me paste because it says the file is too big. Have a look at it now. The altcoin market cap appears to be forming a bottoming pattern in this area. Why? It consolidates in the higher time frame support area, indicating we're seeing buying pressure and going sideways. Also, on top of that, the first breakout upwards in nearly 3 months is likely to happen. That breakout will break above the 20-day moving average, which the markets have broken beneath since the beginning of October. So he's looking at the altcoin market capitalization. Which one is that? Must be that one. Let me just pull that image back. Where is it again? Have I lost it? No. What am I looking at? There it is. What time frame is he looking at? Can't tell, can't see. Probably daily. Well, he's looking at the moving averages. So let me put the 20 moving average in. That's the Bollinger Band midpoint. There, yeah, he's right. It's above the 20 moving average. Let's get rid of these squiggles. Keep those trend lines. Go to a higher time frame. Even higher. Even higher. Oh shit, what's that? Even higher. I mean, looking at this 3-month candle time frame, let me hide these trend lines. It doesn't look bearish at all, because the price is in the top part of the Bollinger Band above the 20 moving average. You see that? Yeah. You see how on this higher time, this 3-month time frame, you see how these candles are just going like that. It's kind of pushing this. That doesn't look bearish. That actually looks really bullish. The altcoin market cap. See that? It doesn't look bearish at all. It doesn't look like we're rejecting at all. It looks like we want to break out to the upside. And you see how this lower Bollinger Band is kind of shooting up. It's bullish when you're above a 20 moving average on a higher time frame, and we are on the monthly time frame and the 3-monthly and the 6-monthly. It's just the weekly that needs to that will change things. So I think possibly on the altcoin market capitalization, we have got a possible on a higher time frame. We have a possibility here to do something quite crazy. I do like it. I do like this actually. It is looking quite bullish, and so generally speaking, that would mean that Bitcoin breaks out and then everyone goes crypto mental, and so people will actually start selling their Bitcoin and buying altcoins. That's what would be required. See how it's squeezing? It's squeezing this Bollinger Band, squeezing at the highs. And really what you want to see for a reversal is you have to lose this 20 moving average, back test, and then we're kind of in the lower half. This turns, then the whole thing starts to go either sideways or it starts to trend down. Okay, and we're not seeing that just yet. Okay, so he does make a fair point. I do like what I see. If you kind of have a look at the Bitcoin dominance 3-monthly, yeah, it looks quite bearish. Bitcoin dominance still looks bearish. It doesn't look bullish. And here you can see on the monthly time frame we are trying to lose that midpoint, that 20 moving average. So maybe we will see another run, on altcoins. At the beginning of next year, end of this year. I do think I do think Bitcoin is looking quite bullish right now. So whereas last week I was a bit bearish, nothing's changed. I mean, the price hasn't really gone anywhere. It's just the extra kind of data that's come in now. It's like if you're not sure, you have to be patient. You have to wait. And from 7 days ago, when is it? We're now Friday. 7 days ago. Look, we were there. Yeah, that's where we were here. Price hasn't really gone anywhere, has it? It's kind of it's 1% higher. Okay, so you don't lose anything by waiting too long. It's just that now you're longing support on reclaims, whereas before it was a gamble. It was hope for the best. And so while before, yeah, you could gamble and you can get 88k or whatever, we don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if the price is going to go down and collapse. Whereas now you've got liquidity, now you've got reclaims, now you've got bullish engulfing, you have a different kind of situation. Now you can see that the sellers are generally struggling that being said, the New York is opening and the price is going down. So maybe that bearish CVD is playing out. Let's have a look at it on the order flow. Now you see we've lost the VWAP now. So this is actually quite bearish, losing the VWAP. So it's bearish CVD, losing the VWAP, being underneath the daily open. That's pretty bearish. So you kind of want to see this change. You kind of want to see some bullish CVD. The minute you get some bullish CVD, that will give you confidence that the bigger players, the market players, the whales are buying again, and they're buying with force. Okay, that's kind of that always scares me. It scares me to buy when you got the whales are selling, and therefore when you're scared, you shouldn't be buying or selling or doing anything. You should just wait. But you know, the price can do what I said. It could fake out the lows and go right back up. It can, and you can get a big short close out at the lows, and then there's not enough sell pressure, and then you can get bam. That could easily happen. So generally speaking, you either trade the range, scalp, or you just wait for a sign of strength. In this context, I think I'm looking for a reclaim. Go back to my original statement. A reclaim would be nice. Reclaiming that higher daily level. The price could easily take out these lows and go right back up because we're in this range. You could easily do that. See that? We're kind of in the range. Point control is right in the middle. Value area high is at daily level. Value area low is just above that daily level. Price could easily stop out all of these local stops here. Find support and then go right back up. Yeah. That's what scalpers love to do. They love to just like trade the range from range high to range low. And so right now you can see there's a little range here, and that's what traders are doing. They're just buying and selling the highs, buying the lows. All right. So that is my kind of weekly Bitcoin update. I'm feeling quite bullish, but let's see what happens. I do feel a bit bullish, but whereas last week I was feeling bearish, I'm feeling a bit bullish. Let's see. Let's move on